Good morning, everybody. What I have here is an AA book. It's Alcoholics Anonymous. We're going to read something out of the part to where it's forward to second edition. And there's different volumes. This is the most popular volume. I've been in a lot of rehab, my experience, I've ran into a lot of people who, you know how like some people know the Bible from front to back, they've got it memorized. Well, there's people that have this memorized as well, and the prior editions, because it's serious stuff. This just ain't no book that Bill and Bob was like, let's just sit down and write something. They had help, okay? And they did. And, you know, we've already talked about the John D. Rockefeller Sr. You know, Wikipedia portrays him, or depicts him as being one of the wealthiest men ever. And it's true, but it's like he's the one that they're going to put out there. Like there's nothing going wrong. Like, yeah, he's a great businessman, you know. Because you have a spawn of Jay-Z, Rockefeller Records. That has nothing to do with Jay-Z. This has everything to do with world domination. You know, but the Rockefellers and all the people and the J.P. Morgans and all them, they're all controlled. But they created the work, the environment. They created the possessions. They created the vacations. They created the image. They created everything because they own the world, and the Vatican and whoever, with people we don't see. You know, they've created the alcoholism. They've created the pharmaceutical industry. They've outlawed all the plants. They've outlawed everything. You know, and one thing that they did put out here is this. This is what started everything with my journey. You know, you see all that coloring? Well, I remember a long time ago sitting at one rehab, and, you know, I mean, we have AA meetings, but some of us, my mind just wasn't ready to receive, you know, what was trying to help me. And so I'm going to doodle, you know, and that's a side effect of damage to the brain, you know. But it's a reminder every time I see this. It's funny. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump to one sentence, okay? And it says, and remember, this is out of the, this is just a little forward to the second edition. Anyways, it's talking about the building of AA somewhat, the structure, the numbers. But it says, in the spring of 1940, John D. Rockefeller Jr. gave a dinner for many of his friends to which he invited AA members to tell their stories. It's like, why would John D. Rockefeller Jr. invite AA individuals to tell their stories at a dinner? Well, let's break it down. We all know they're dirty as hell. But if anything, what we have is pride, okay? You know, these people just can't help just getting their name into a book, you know. And if I'm Rockefeller and I own the world and I'm the richest, basically, because his son's no different than his daddy. What I'm going to do is this, is if I'm part of creating something to help cure what I created in order to kill people and to give them diseases, to create the medical industry around them and everything, I'm going to give them some sunlight, you know, some hidden stuff doctored up, because this is the 12 steps. This goes with the 12 constellations. It goes with that. This coincides with this. 12 grades in school coincides with that. It's all one. You know, but if I'm going to have a dinner to where I'm going to have people come in and talk, that's me bragging, saying, look how big my penis is. Not only am I going to kill people, but I have a heart to actually help them too. You know. And it goes into raising the goat, an esoteric saying. That's what brothers say to each other. It's like, cut your passions. But see, we've got so many passions, so many obsessions created through the Rockefellers and through the everybody that's used us. You know, it's hard to fight through that. So what they've done is because this society we're going into, just throw this away. We don't need this anymore. There's no sense in getting help. Why? There's no sin. You can just stay an alcoholic and drug addict and you'll just inherit heaven. That's Christianity now. If you're a Christian, you know, nobody can be wrong. You know, I mean, I'm serious. This is the society. You are 1,000 times. It's 1,000 times harder to get clean now with everything that's going on with the COVID. The COVID, and it is. This is impossible because if you don't have an education, if you don't have a little bit of an education. Now, I'm not saying people don't get sober because they don't read this, because they do every day. You know, but there's a whole lot more to this than just getting sober and staying miserable. You know, there's a path. You know, but when it comes to AA and the Rockefellers, see, I've written letters and sent things into places, and I've said, I want my shot. This generation, your bloodline invited people to a dinner. Why can't y'all invite me to a dinner and I can talk about what AA's done in my life, since you biggest businessmen in the whole world are in AA? Mainly Rockefeller Jr. So the Rockefellers out there, that's my challenge to you, which it'll never happen. Why don't I get my shot at the title? Well, because this book's only supposed to get you sober. That's it. You're not supposed to ask any other questions, sort of like the Bible. You're only supposed to just have that Bible sitting on your coffee table. You're not supposed to literally read it and actually study and go and look at other literature too and actually live an exemplary life. It's supposed to sit on the table. That's how we've been taught. You know, but this is, when it comes to, it's hard to read when we're new into recovery. So these words are very hard and they're confusing. But it's like my sponsor, my brother, black guy, Mike. He told me, he said, read one sentence or paragraph in the beginning. Read one thing and write it down. And if it's confusing, reread it. Journal. And that's what I did. Get a dictionary. He said, get a real dictionary. Don't use your fucking phone. Do it like the old timers did. Work your brain. What in the hell is that? Work your faculties. What the hell is going on? And the whole thing is it's the brain's being exercised just like I'd exercise my body. Now the two's working together. You know. But my whole point is if Rockefeller invited people in there and be like, hey, check it out, we're going to have some people in here. You know, that's something that they're a part of creating. You know, and they are. Because truthfully, it's masonry, and it's a lot of different things other than masonry. It's eclectic. It's a combination of things. And that's what it is. And truthfully, if it helps individuals, people laugh at this. Gluttonists laugh at this. Overeaters, I've been to plenty of meetings of overeaters. They came to Alcoholics Anonymous too, and it's a real thing. And they admit it. They're an overeater. Why wouldn't something like this be incorporated into the school system? And then why not have an aftercare program that works with the father and the mother that's addicted or whatever too, where they can go to the school and work together with the child, because our tax dollars are paying for counselors and therapists that are real people. Because they don't want you to get better. They don't want nobody to get better. And everybody laughs at this notion. People laugh at me and I'm like, but all you have is business. There's a part in here talks about a man who's drinking when he's working. He said, you know what, I'm going to wait until I'm retired before I drink. And he started drinking. He was dead in 2 years after he retired. Once we stop, once we retire, it talks about, then the growing stops. Then we start going in reverse, just like an infant again. It's because your countries gave you retirement and other excuses. And then a lot of alcohol, which is legal. Obey the laws of the land. Oh, man. But we're going to eradicate cannabis and hemp. You know, it is insane. What the fuck is going on? Dude, I'm telling you right now, there's something fucking around me and it's trying to mess with me. Children, my Charlie's like, what is, I said, it's a ghost, bro. It's some energy and it's fucking with me. But anyways, you know, I would just like a shot. I would like to sit down with the Rockefellers and the people because they're behind all this COVID stuff. They're behind all of it. Dude, y'all have your brain's that big. And I hate to say that, but it is. It's that big because even all this pharmaceutical stuff, your depression medication, it's a foreign substance. That's what it is. You'll never get better. Ever. And in your head, you're like, wait a minute, these people are experts. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. See, if we cure things, then they're not in business. This is not about curing. This doesn't cure. This just treats, like cancer, treatments. And how everybody's so gung-ho on COVID. Listen, guys, I have proven that the United States is underwater. The whole earth is on water when it comes to commerce. Women, you're delivering babies in hospitals, which are ships. There's no different than the ships bringing in cargo from offshore. You both water, babies water, cargo water. When you're there, it's got a certificate and serial number and everything because it is documented, it is registered, and it is ready to make some money for the Vatican, which is the Holy Roman Empire. We're slaves. We make wages. Wages goes into slavery. Mortgage, that's debt, that's slavery. That's the forever you'll be in debt. When Scripture, based in this shit, says to not do all that shit. But what do? We do all of it because the Rockefellers and their fucking families own all that shit. But you got a choice. You don't have to dive deep into all that shit or you can get into this. But you got to go through all that shit, lose everything before you can get to this. As opposed to teaching something like this, principles and all that shit early in life that children don't get at home. But see, the school does not want to teach principles and values and morals because they want the children to fail later on in life. And it's the truth. And y'all know that shit too. There's nothing taught positive to these children except do whatever you want to do. Yeah. We ain't going to whip you. You don't make mistakes. We're going to pass you anyways. And wait a minute. Where are we getting to? Do you realize what this book calls for? Complete denial of self. That's what it is. This right here is a new way of life. If it takes forever to understand one word, then take forever. You know, because it's not that the Rockefellers, they put it all together. They put everything that I've read, these same bloodlines and the people have wrote, and they've already, they get scanned and analyzed by these Jesuits before it comes out. Because they want things to get out, but all this is in all the literature. I mean, it is. Everything that I've read. And let me say this, a lot of the non-denominational Christian programs, since I've been through a lot of stuff, they're doctored up, and it's this. The whole curriculum. So what they've done is these false prophets, is they get authority to write, curriculums based off of AA and the 12 steps. But they doctor it up and use different wording, and then it's another way to make money. Because what you do is you have a found, because this is your secret society stuff. You just don't know that. Because once you put something out there that's real shit that's been hidden and you doctor it up, then you can spawn off of that many different ways. And it'll all go back to the Vatican, because now everybody's, that's why I try to tell people, you got to be careful which direction you go, because a lot of this stuff will pull you in. But I wanted to share that because the whole thing about me is talking about that is because I want my shot. I want to talk about what AA's done in my little bit over 6 years to the Rockefellers, to the Rothschilds. That would be sweet, But nobody gives a shit. It doesn't matter. They give us something to get better, I guess, and it still doesn't matter. And truthfully, I think that they've lost a lot of people on their side too through all their creations of alcohol and pills too that they didn't want to lose. But then again, to them, it's like if you can't cut your passions, then you deserve to die. To these people, they don't play around, man. So anyways, who knows? I might get that shot one day, sitting up there talking, and that would be something, wouldn't it? Because they would listen. They would be like, because it would probably be private. Because I would not hold back at all. At all. Now, there wouldn't be no violence going on, but they would see something that they had never fucking seen in the history of them controlling us like cattle. At all. They would say, holy shit. In the whole, and we've beat the hospitals, we've beat the pharmaceutical industries, we've beat it all almost. But the only when we have beat it all is death. But to continue on this path through all the setbacks and roadblocks and all the ignoring and all the laziness you got to fight through of individuals and the reluctancy to learn anything, and how you see them accept what the Rockefellers have gave us and how we bite on it like stupid fucking animals. It's sad because we were never meant to be like we are. God created us to fight everything. Our Creator, what you believe in. It's like this, but when you make human beings pathetic and you make them addicts, alcoholics and everything, you lower the white blood cells in their body, and that's fighting off, whatever it is. Then you tie in these fake frequencies and stuff, and we get flu-like symptoms. And we're meant to kill it all, to not be sick. But now God's stupid. He created, you're a dumbass. He's dumb, and we've got to take care of the whole earth too. It is real. And the whole thing is people, when it comes to families, there's the family afterwards. There's all kinds of stuff in here, guys. If you've never heard of this, get you a book, and read the first 164 chapters or pages. And you will, if you seek, you will find. Because what it is from my experience with helping a lot of families, and them helping me, pretty much all family units are screwed up. And they are. Because most family units now are led by an individual, and then all that individual is money. They don't have they have nothing else. Nothing else to fall back on. Their whole life has been driven, make money, success, status, position. That's it. A lot of them grew up poor. A lot of people grew up poor, so they made money. Well, they want to make it to where their children don't never have to live like they once did. Although your government, same people who created AA, want you to leave all of your shit to your children who you never made get structured, who never fucking made get disciplined. And in time, your government will take everything that you made from them by design in the beginning, because that's what Satan and that's what these fucking people do to get it all. Because they know those individuals will spend everything they have to keep living such a selfish, shitty life. Just like an alcoholic. They'll do anything to get that alcohol. They'll do anything. I got to do it. I got to get there. And it's like, God. And they have jammed people up, because when they start enforcing these codes, more and more codes because of COVID, it's not going nowhere, because that's what's going to happen. They're going to have to implement the robots. and shit, the robot dogs and drones, and say, look, we've got to put them out there, because, and it's all lie. It's just to put more security out here, and it's to fucking make us into a big prison and to control us. And that's what it is, and that's just a little bit what I would talk about, because that's not even scratching the surface of anything that I can bring. But once again, I'll never get that shot because these people ignore us, because we're cattle. You know, that's why when they come through the towns, these leaders and stuff they have, it's not to protect them. There ain't nobody gonna fucking try to blast them. It's because they know that we live in such a shitty environment, sort of like pigs. Yeah. And they know what they give us out here by design through their fake labs and everything, diseases and all that shit off of our demise of the anatomy. They know what it is. So they don't take pills. They don't drink. They don't do none of that shit. Trump's brother, listen to this. A lot of them that can't stop drinking and shit, do you know what happens to them truthfully? They get sacrificed. Yeah, they get sacrificed and offered up to Baal. Now, I'm not saying Trump knows about it, but, you know, there's powers around this whole structure here in America that run Hollywood, the music industry, television, the churches and everything, and individuals and all that shit. If your name fits in gematria to their priesthood of Saturnia, they get killed. It's just like right now in the hospitals. If you go to the hospital and your name fits their shit, and you seem like, you know, this one right here would be a good candidate to kill and blame it on COVID, because we own the fucking funeral homes and the morgues. We can falsify any certificate. You know, they're a big wig in the community. They came in here, well, we're going to kill them. Yeah. And what we're going to do is tell the family, and then the family's going to go get on the news stations that we own, and they're going to talk about how real it is, because their family member did just die because we killed them. Not because of COVID, because they killed them. They're death doctors. Just like they kill people in them churches. They gave y'all positions. If you're in a church, positions, you know, were given to us in order to make us have some kind of power and authority, even though we don't. You know, and those positions are given to you and to set you up in time, to sacrifice you. And then for them to be at the funeral and say, we don't question God. We don't question God. With the family sitting right there going through hell, going, they were fine. I don't understand it. Well, we don't either. But we don't question God. In their fucking satanic robes. And these, y'all, do your research. These churches, there's 3 steps that go up. That's the 3 steps of Freemasonry, which it's not. It's some other shit. Because Freemasonry is actually all right. You know, it comes, it saved my life, but now when you control it now, though, even people that know a little bit that I know that go to these churches, they know. They're like, yeah, I know that, but you don't know. Because the hallways, you know, that's a big phallus. That's a penis that the priests of Baal are walking down, the vagina, the oval. You know, they're going down there and they're going to the 3 steps, and now they're going up to enlightenment and to the throne, you know, to the head, to the tip of the penis, because these people worship the phallus. You know, the Washington Monument and all that shit up there, that's a big phallus. It's 555 feet tall and 111 feet in the ground. For 666. And then it's got the vesica piscis at the bottom, which is the vagina. That's your ring. See, marriage represents, that's the ring, is a communion, regeneration. Vagina and penis, phallus. Nobody knows that. We're not taught anything. Now, everything that I just said, I can go in very detail about it. Because to some people, they'll be like, yeah, it's just like in antiquity. Listen to me. This is okay, because God did create Saturn as we know it, and Jupiter and all that. But in the old days, you know, women had earrings, rings, you know, rings. Saturn, Lord of the Rings, he's the furthest out, and women would wear earrings so they could hear Saturn better. You know, the kings had the ring around their heads. You know, the ring, wedding ring, You know, it's tied into all this stuff more than what you think. Because it's what we've been taught is one thing and what we know is another. And when you put that shit everywhere, it's over. And then Twilight Zone and fucking everything else. We did a video on how each decade more space shit, just more. But the average human being, and see, you'll learn a 4-step in there. And that's the whole thing is when you learn how to do a 4-step on everything, like space shows, movies. So what we can do is right fast is we can see how technology, how the radio, there's the radio. I know this is backwards. This is backwards, but that's the radio starting right here. So we're going to have some space shows, and then TV's going to come out, and then you see space each decade, more, and then each generation that grows into that shit. You take all this away, you'll see it for what it is. You'll see all that shit for what it is. But anyways, I want my shot, Rockefeller. Suck it until then. Love you.